Rapper Young Dolph has now been shot and killed in Memphis.
Young Dolph never spent a day in jail in his life. He was an example to the youth. However, what most do not know is that he had an insane criminal history. Growing up at a time when Memphis was drug-infested, he was bound to dip his fingers into the criminal world. This is no ordinary tale. It's a gripping narrative of survival, resilience, and the unpredictable turns that catapulted Young Dolph into the spotlight. This is Young Dolph's insane criminal history, Young Dolph's criminal past. Young Dolph, born Adolph Thornton Jr., entered this world on July 27, 1985, in the city of Chicago. At the tender age of 2, he moved to Memphis, Tennessee, where his life would take a dramatic turn. Dolph's parents, battling their own demons of crack addiction, were unable to provide a stable environment for their 5 children. It was during this challenging time that Dolph's grandmother stepped in to fill the void. Dolph's paternal grandmother, Ida Mae Thornton, became his primary caregiver. Alongside his 2 younger brothers, Marcus and Timothy, Dolph found solace and stability in Ida Mae's loving embrace. Despite the family turbulence caused by his parents' addiction, Dolph's grandmothers devised a plan to ensure the well-being of their grandchildren. Dolph's 2 older sisters remained in Chicago with their maternal grandmother, while Dolph and his brothers went to live with Ida Mae in Memphis. This decision would prove to be a turning point in Dolph's life, as it provided him with the stability and guidance he desperately needed. Growing up in the Castelia Heights neighborhood of South Memphis, Dolph faced the harsh realities of poverty and violence. But it was within the walls of Ida Mae's home that he found a sanctuary. Surrounded by love and support, Dolph began to develop his unique personality and unwavering determination. Despite the challenges they faced, Dolph's parents remained present in his life, occasionally residing in another family residence in South Memphis. Their unwavering commitment to each other, despite their personal struggles, left a lasting impression on Dolph. He witnessed firsthand the power of love and the importance of family bonds. Ida Mae became his full-time caretaker once he hit the 4th grade. Although his parents had tried to resume raising him, she took him back in after he got in trouble at school. He had gotten into a verbal altercation with his teacher and ended by insulting the grown-up. As Dolph grew older, he faced financial hardships that tested his resolve. In his music and interviews, he would later reflect on these difficult times, recalling moments of sharing a bed with one of his cousins. But through it all, Dolph's determination to rise above his circumstances never wavered. Dolph's grandmothers, Ida Mae and his maternal grandmother, provided him with the love and support he needed to overcome the challenges of his early life. Their influence would shape his character and fuel his ambition to succeed against all odds. Boxed in the predominantly black enclave of Castelia Heights that was a mix of churches and tidy homes with gang activity and abandoned properties overrun with tall grass and debris, Ida Mae became the father figure that Dolph needed growing up. Under Ida Mae's stern and watchful eye there, Dolph avoided the pitfalls that were predominantly found in impoverished black neighborhoods in America. He joined the usher board at church and had to be home each night when the streetlights turned on. If he talked back, he paid a price. Many of his friends weren't even allowed to set foot inside his grandmother's house. "I thought she was the meanest motherfucker in the world," Dolph said of his grandmother in a July 2021 appearance on Revolt TV's Big Facts show. "She was extremely hard on the young boy because she saw his potential. According to sources, she saw something special in the boy. She used to always say that he was her favorite baby and he was going to go somewhere in life. She said, I don't know where he was going in life, but he was going to be something great." Ida Mae was a beautician by trade, and when Dolph was 13, he learned how to cut hair, starting with his 2 younger brothers. "We living with this old lady. I'm looking at her like she old. It's only so much she can do. It's only so long she's gonna be around. I'm like, I gotta figure it out," he said in an interview. Dolph's business acumen was obvious from the start, since he found a way to make his clients walking billboards for his handiwork while undercutting his competition with a slightly cheaper price. However, he would soon find himself using his business talents the wrong way. This was the only dark spot in his otherwise stellar life and eventual career. By his middle teens, Dolph turned to drug dealing. Never mind that his family had been broken because of drugs, or that his parents couldn't take care of him and his siblings because of their addiction. He became a well-known drug dealer in his hometown. He became the very cancer that was slowly consuming the community and destroying both young and old. He used the cash to help his family, but he worked overtime to keep it a secret from Ida Mae. "My whole thing was like, I never want my grandmother to know," he told World Star in a 2017 documentary about his life. He recalled watching in horror one day as contraband hastily stuffed in his shorts to prevent Ida Mae from seeing it fall through to the ground right in front of her. "She just started yelling and screaming," he recalled. "I ain't never want to let her down. I ain't never want that to be in her mind about me. This just made me cry." This must have been a turning point for the young boy, as he went on to try his luck in other things. Luckily for him, he had a musical talent that would see him dubbed the King of Memphis. The city's vibrant music scene and rich cultural heritage would serve as a backdrop for his artistic development. It was in Memphis that young Dolph would find his voice and begin to navigate the complexities of the music industry. As he settled into his new surroundings, young Dolph became increasingly drawn to music as a means of self-expression. He He recognized the power of storytelling through lyrics and saw it as a way to share his own experiences and connect with others who could relate to his struggles. The move to Memphis also exposed young Dolph to the realities of street life and the challenges faced by those living in underserved communities. These experiences would later become a recurring theme in his music, as he sought to shed light on the harsh realities of his upbringing and the determination it took to rise above them. Beef in the industry. In 2008, young Dolph took a leap of faith and began releasing mixtapes independently. These early projects allowed him to showcase his raw talent and unique style, capturing the attention of the local music scene in Memphis. His lyrics painted a vivid picture of the street life and hustling he had witnessed and experienced firsthand. Word of young Dolph's talent quickly spread, and he began to gain a loyal following. His music resonated with listeners who could relate to his stories of struggle and triumph. Young Dolph's authenticity and raw delivery set him apart from his peers, establishing him as a rising star in the rap industry. As his popularity grew, young Dolph realized the importance of maintaining creative control over his music and career. In 2010, he founded his own independent record label, Paper Route Empire. This move allowed him to have complete autonomy and make decisions that aligned with his artistic vision. Young Dolph's mixtapes continued to generate buzz and attract attention from major players in the music industry. His unique blend of gritty street tales and infectious beats caught the ear of established artists and producers, leading to collaborations that further elevated his profile. Despite the early success and growing recognition, young Dolph remained grounded and focused on his craft. He understood that his journey was just beginning and that there was still much work to be done. Young Dolph's dedication and unwavering commitment to his music propelled him forward, setting the stage for the next chapter in his career. Young Dolph's relentless work ethic and undeniable talent soon caught the attention of the music industry at large. His unique style and raw delivery set him apart from his peers, and it wasn't long before he began to make waves on a national scale. In 2016, young Dolph released his highly anticipated debut studio album, King of Memphis. This project showcased his growth as an artist and solidified his position as a force to be reckoned with in the rap game. The album received critical acclaim and achieved moderate commercial success, introducing young Dolph to a wider audience. With the release of King of Memphis, young Dolph's star continued to rise. His captivating storytelling and unapologetic lyrics resonated with fans across the country. Tracks like Get Paid and Preach became anthems for those who related to his tales of hustling and street life. Young Dolph's success didn't stop there. He continued to release music at a rapid pace, dropping mixtapes and albums that further solidified his place in the rap industry. His discography boasted a diverse range of sounds and collaborations, showcasing his versatility as an artist. One of the most significant milestones in young Dolph's career came in 2020 with the release of his album, Rich Slave. This project debuted at number 4 on the prestigious Billboard 200 chart, marking his highest charting album to date. The album's success was a testament to young Dolph's growing fan base and the impact he had made on the music industry. Rich Slave was a powerful body of work that delved into themes of wealth, success, and the realities of being a black man in America. Young Dolph's lyrics painted a vivid picture of his experiences and shed light on the systemic issues that plagued his community. The album resonated with listeners, sparking conversations and further solidifying young Dolph's status as a voice for the streets. Beyond his solo work, young Dolph also collaborated with other artists, further expanding his reach and influence. One notable collaboration was with his cousin Key Glock, another rising star in the rap scene. The duo's chemistry was undeniable, and their joint projects showcased their undeniable talent and shared experiences growing up in Memphis. Young Dolph's impact on the rap industry extended far beyond his music. He was a trailblazer in the independent music scene, proving that artists could achieve success on their own terms. His entrepreneurial spirit and business acumen were evident in his establishment of Paper Route Empire, which not only served as a platform for his own music, but also provided opportunities for other talented artists. Young Dolph's rise to stardom was a testament to his unwavering dedication and commitment to his craft. He remained true to himself and his roots, never compromising his authenticity for mainstream success. His impact on the rap industry was undeniable, and his influence continues to be felt by aspiring artists and fans alike. Young Dolph was more than just a rapper. He had a strong bond with his hometown, Memphis, and his generosity made him a beloved figure in the city and the true king of Memphis. Despite his success, he never forgot where he came from and always gave back to the community that supported him when he was coming up. From donating $25,000 to his old high school to regularly handing out hundreds of turkeys during giveaways, young Dolph showed immense care for the people who looked up to him. Young Dolph's success didn't change him. He remained down to earth and connected with his roots. He credited Memphis for his achievements and believed in the importance of family and support. Even beyond Memphis, he showed generosity, gifting money and extravagant prizes to fans, and even supporting the baristas from Duke University who were fired for playing Dolph's song on the clock. However, his career was not all sunshine and rainbows, as he had beef with a close friend, who also happened to be among the best rappers in Memphis. The feud led to Dolph getting shot at more than once. This was none other than Yo Gotti. The rivalry was so intense that there were rumors that Yo Gotti was behind Dolph's death. So how did the two rappers, who were once friends, end up shooting at each other? The Memphis rap scene was dominated by Yo Gotti, who achieved national prominence with hit singles such as I Know and Down in the DM. Not only had Yo Gotti's popularity increased, but he had also established his own empire thanks to his CMG imprint, which now houses talented artists such as 42 Dugg and Black Youngsta from Memphis. During Yo Gotti's reign, however, Young Dolph emerged as a formidable competitor. Young Dolph founded Paper Route Empire in 2008, and he quickly began to make a name for himself in the industry. Collaborations with rap game giants such as Gucci Mane further solidified his ascending status. In 2015, Young Dolph's popularity and fan base skyrocketed, placing him in direct competition with Yo Gotti, which resulted in a bitter rivalry. Young Dolph and Yo Gotti's feud achieved its pinnacle in 2016, with both artists engaging in a public feud, firing shots at each other through their music and social media. Young Dolph, known for his forthrightness, voiced his displeasure with Yo Gotti, specifically referencing the time he turned down Yo Gotti's offer to sign a record contract with CMG. From Young Dolph's perspective, Gotti took offense at Dolph's decision, establishing the groundwork for their ongoing animosity. Young Dolph's announcement that his debut album would be titled King of Memphis was an important point in the developing rivalry. Many were taken aback by this action, as Yo Gotti had long claimed the title for himself. Despite Gotti's silence on the subject, the Memphis rap community regarded Dolph's album title as a direct challenge to Gotti's claim to the throne. Despite the tension, Young Dolph attempted to tone down the conflict during a February 2016 radio show appearance. He appreciated Yo Gotti's early support in his career and explained that the title of his album was not intended as an insult, but rather reflected the mindset of himself and his crew, who considered themselves kings in their own right. However, tensions rose even more when Yo Gotti's CMG artist, Black Youngsta, publicly criticized Young Dolph in an Instagram video. Black Youngsta questioned Dolph's claim to be the king of Memphis and resorted to threats, demonstrating that the hatred between the two groups was serious. Conflict between Young Dolph and Yo Gotti reached new heights on March 2, 2016, when Black Youngsta showed up in Young Dolph's Memphis area. Black Youngsta was accompanied by a number of his goons as they roamed through South Memphis's Castalia neighborhood, reportedly looking for Young Dolph. While the two sides did not cross paths during this encounter, it was clear that their hostility went much deeper than a battle of words on social media and in their songs. While Young Dolph had mainly taken the high road throughout the conflict, by March 16, 2016, his patience had run out. Dolph openly responded against Yo Gotti in a series of Instagram posts, accusing him of harboring anger for Memphis rap icons like 3 6 Mafia and 8 Ball and Amp MJG. He further alleged that Gotti sent Black Youngsta to fight his battles and that he had even called the cops on him. Dolph stated unequivocally that he had no intention of ever signing with Gotti, and he also reminded him of his feud with Gucci Mane, hinting that Gotti's animosity towards him stemmed from his continuous relationship with Gucci. Black Youngsta wasted no time in responding to Dolph's harsh statements, releasing a diss track titled Shake Some, which he famously performed barely a month after Dolph's death. Youngsta criticized Young Dolph's Memphis ties and attacked his claim to be the city's king in the song. He also declared his devotion to Gotti and called Dolph's legitimacy and credentials as a Memphis musician into doubt. Black Youngsta declared the feud over months after clashing with Young Dolph in an interview with Vlad TV. Youngsta put an end to the rivalry by revealing that despite their feud, Yo Gotti actually liked Young Dolph, but Dolph refused to accept that it was resolved, leaving room for additional strife. Later, Young Dolph released the diss track Play With Yo directed at Yo Gotti, which went viral. The song was brutal as it made damning revelations of Dolph dating Gotti's baby mama. Yo Gotti's long silence on the developing animosity with Young Dolph came to a conclusion after he issued his diss tune Don't Beef With Me, where he cleverly avoided direct confrontation with his op. Young Dolph, never one to back down, responded with the release of his Play With Yo music video. The video mocked Yo Gotti mercilessly. Dolph went all in, using a Gotti impersonator in the video, indicating that the animosity had reached new heights. Exactly one day after the video dropped, Yo Gotti seemed to retaliate, but this time with bullets. On February 25, 2017, news spread that Young Dolph had been targeted in a gunshot in Charlotte, North Carolina, escalating the rivalry. Over 100 shots were fired at his vehicle, but owing to his armored SUV, Dolph escaped unharmed. He went on the stage later that night, unfazed by the event, and performed his Yo Gotti diss hit Play With Yo The message was clear. He was not going to back down. However, young Dolph appeared to have changed his mind. During an interview, he called his battle with Yo Gotti old news, turning his focus to the future rather than the past. A tragedy occurred just as the animosity appeared to be cooling. On September 26, 2017, young Dolph was again the victim of a shooting, this time in Hollywood. Details on the incident were scant as she was rushed to the hospital. Yo Gotti was named a person of interest by the LAPD after an altercation between their entourages escalated into gunfire. However, the Los Angeles Police Department reaffirmed a day later that Yo Gotti was not a person of interest in the shooting, denying the early reports. Corey McClendon, a Yo Gotti associate, was instead charged with attempted murder in connection with the incident. As the investigation progressed, Corey McClendon was unexpectedly freed without prosecution on September 28, 2017. Despite the absence of arrests, the animosity between the two artists was evident, keeping fans and the wider public on edge, wondering if the rivalry would ever be completely settled. The beef died down after that. However, 4 years later, tragedy struck as young Dolph was gunned down in his hometown. Young Dolph's death.
A rapper whose star was on the rise in the music industry has been killed.
On the 17th of November 2021, Memphis and the entire hip-hop industry was rocked by the death of Adolph Robert Thornton Jr., alias Young Dolph. That day, Young Dolph was in Memphis doing what many people loved him for, supporting local businesses. The rapper was on his way to one of his favorite spots, Makeda's homemade butter cookies, to buy cookies for his mom. At around noon, Dolph drove around Memphis in his signature camouflage covert. He stopped at a gas station just a short distance away from the bakery to put gas in his vehicle. In a video obtained by TMZ, the rapper can be seen filling up his car with gas before heading off to Makeda's homemade butter cookies, where he would be last seen. His would-be killers must have seen him driving through Memphis and tailed him as they waited for the perfect opportunity to strike. After leaving the gas station, he drove to the bakery and pulled over at the parking lot a little past noon. He could never have known that he was only moments away from losing his life. He exited his vehicle and made his way into the bakery. That was the green light for his enemies, as they also made their way to the bakery. The attackers pulled up into the parking lot in a two-door Mercedes-Benz, where two men who were completely masked jumped out of the vehicle with guns and opened fire. The rapper was hit 22 times, and slowly, as he bled out on the floor of his favorite bakery, his life slipped from his fingers. News of young Dolph's murder spread like wildfire, leaving fans and the music industry in shock. The hunt for his killers began, and the authorities were determined to bring them to justice. But in a case filled with mystery and speculation, finding the culprit seemed like an insurmountable task. The tension was so high that there were calls for the implementation of a curfew in Memphis.
Several public officials calling for a curfew tonight, fearing acts of retaliation in certain parts of the city after young Dolph is shot and killed.
Immediately, heads turned to his number one op, Yo Gotti. Shortly after young Dolph was gunned down, rumors started to circulate that there had already been retaliation against two of his known rivals, Black Youngsta and Yo Gotti. Some claimed Youngstar's grandmother's house had been shot up, while others said Yo Gotti's restaurant, Prive, had also been made a target. Journalists were quick to the scene to confirm that the restaurant had not been shot up. However, the rumor caused a lot of tension in Memphis, forcing the cops to take action. Several Memphis Police Department squad cars filled the parking lot of Prive, which is located about 10 miles from where Dolph was shot and killed. This was in an effort to prevent possible retaliation attacks. Luckily, even Black Youngstar's grandma was okay. However, Prive was eventually shut down temporarily by cops, although they did not confirm if there were any threats directed at Gotti or his business, meaning that it may have been nothing more than a precautionary move. Less than 24 hours later, the world got their first look at young Dolph's alleged murderers when Memphis police released pictures of two people standing outside the cookie shop in broad daylight, aiming guns at the windows and then taking off, running back to the white Mercedes they had arrived in. The Memphis Police Department wasted no time in launching a full-scale investigation into the murder of young Dolph. Detectives and forensic experts descended upon the crime scene, meticulously combing through every piece of evidence in search of answers. The initial hours and days of the investigation were crucial, as they set the foundation for what would become a relentless pursuit of justice. The crime scene was meticulously processed, with every shell casing, bloodstain, and piece of surveillance footage carefully analyzed. Detectives interviewed witnesses who were present at the scene, hoping to gather any information that could lead them to the killers. The community, still reeling from the loss of one of their own, rallied behind the police, providing tips and support in their quest for justice. As the investigation unfolded, the city of Memphis came together to mourn the loss of young Dolph. Vigils and memorials were held in his honor, with fans and fellow artists paying their respects. The outpouring of love and support was a testament to the impact young Dolph had on the community and the music industry as a whole. As the days turned into weeks, months. The investigation into young Dolph's murder continued at full throttle. Detectives meticulously pieced together the puzzle, connecting the dots and following every lead. The pressure was mounting, but the determination to find justice for young Dolph never wavered. 3 days later, police received one of their first breaks in the case. That Mercedes was found. Investigators discovered it had been stolen from an East Memphis gas station just a week before. According to Covington police, it was used in a different murder only 5 days before it was driven to the scene of young Dolph's death. While police worked on connecting the pieces and the public cried out for answers, those closest to young Dolph were left to mourn the death of a man who, to them, was larger than life. Not because of his international fame, but because he was a father and a son. On November 30th, young Dolph's family laid him to rest in a private, heavily secured funeral. The cops' tireless pursuit for justice bore fruit after they identified and arrested one of young Dolph's killers. 9 days after the tragic shooting on December 9th, police arrested the first person they believed to be involved in the superstar's death. Cornelius Smith was arrested after a traffic stop in South Haven, Mississippi.
Video of the arrest of one of the men accused in young Dolph's murder. Last night we told you Cornelius Smith was arrested in South Haven a month ago. Police picked him up on a warrant for an alleged carjacking involving that white Mercedes that was used in Dolph's murder.
Smith was picked up on an auto theft warrant involving the stolen white Mercedes-Benz, though his arrest and alleged connection to young Dolph's murder would not be publicized by South Haven police until later, as authorities across the country worked to find other suspects. And on January 5th, 2022, 7 weeks to the day of young Dolph's murder, Memphis police announced a warrant on a first-degree murder charge for Justin Johnson.
It's a major break in the murder of Memphis rapper young Dolph. U.S. Marshals announcing the man you see on your screen here, 23-year-old Justin Johnson, is wanted for first-degree murder and violating parole. There is a $15,000 reward being offered for his capture.
Justin Johnson, also known as Straight Drop, is a rapper from Memphis who is now the main suspect in the murder of Dolph. Fans speculated that he had ties to the shooting once they recognized that the location of the Mercedes-Benz that was used as the getaway car was featured in his music video for Going Straight In. The video was taken off the internet after they realized that they had snitched on themselves. The U.S. Marshals had promised a $2,500 reward for information that would lead to his capture and was also placed on the most wanted list and is considered to be armed and dangerous. Johnson posted a message on his Instagram story days later, seemingly confirming he would turn himself in. Turning myself in Monday at 2:01, I'm innocent. I'll be back sooner than you can blink. 201 refers to 201 Poplar, which is the men's jail in Memphis, Tennessee. Despite promising to surrender himself on January 10th, the fledgling artist dropped a music video instead, titled Trackhawk, and disappeared from Instagram, as his account was disabled or deleted. However, he was soon caught and arraigned in court. There is some sort of history between Johnson and Dolph, although the exact details are unclear. Johnson was spotted in the background of a picture with young Dolph taken in 2018. Even though the two were seen together, Johnson obviously felt some type of animosity, as when he caught wind of the picture that same year, he took to Facebook to state, "They need to scratch my face out this." Photos have also surfaced of Johnson posing with a Paper Route Empire chain. However, according to rumors in Memphis, the chain was stolen from one of Dolph's artists. A third suspect was also arrested in connection with Dolph's murder. Shundale Barnett was apprehended in Indiana and had reportedly been helping fellow suspect and would-be rapper Justin Johnson evade the police. Barnett was charged with accessory after the fact to first-degree murder and criminal attempt to commit first-degree murder. A fourth suspect, 43-year-old Hernandez Govan, who is alleged to have ordered the murder of young Dolph, was also arrested. In June 2023, Jamarcus Johnson reached a plea deal where he pleaded guilty to 3 counts of accessory after the fact in exchange for his conspiracy to murder charge being dropped. He is expected to testify against the other suspects at their upcoming trials. It will be interesting to see how the trial unfolds. If you enjoyed this video, click on the boxes playing on your screen to watch similar content.